Alright everybody, the Saiyan17 here, and I told you on Instagram that this video was coming last week, but unfortunately I did not get time, so here it is now. Today we're going to be talking about power scaling in the Dragon Ball universe. This is a topic that I've been hearing about for a couple months now. It started out for me during the previous story arc when the whole Future Trunks and Black Goku stuff was happening. There were of course many inconsistencies when it came to power scaling in that arc, and just like always, there were two sides to the argument, two sides to the fan base as well. There were a group of people saying how this is wrong, this character shouldn't be able to keep up with that character, and all that stuff. And then the other side of the fan base was saying, no, this is absolutely correct, this is how it should have been all along, F power levels, F this, F that, you know, power levels and power scaling ruin the show, and this is more enjoyable to watch, blah blah blah. Now at the time I chose to stay away from this discussion just because I personally thought it was quite silly, and I also thought it would die out, but the funny thing is, it's becoming a bigger thing now, especially with Dragon Ball Super just coming out and giving us more of these scenes. For example, you know, the latest one where Krillin is somehow keeping up with Super Saiyan Blue, or Android 17 is keeping up with Super Saiyan Blue. You know, who would have ever thought that Krillin and Android 17 would be able to keep up with God level Goku? Definitely not me. Now obviously you guys know which side I take in this argument or discussion. I am 100% against this, and I've always been 100% against it. I do believe that power scaling needs to be consistent, especially in a franchise like Dragon Ball, where the major upcoming event is a freaking fighting tournament. So of course I'm against this, and I do not agree with all this nonsense that Dragon Ball Super keeps giving us. If you're a subscriber, you should already know I'm not coming out here to bash the show. We're simply having a discussion, and I'm speaking my mind. Whether people like it or not, I'm going to keep it real as always. I have my own stance on this, and that's it. Feel free to agree or disagree, but don't start having a freaking bloody war in the comment section, please. So with that being said, let's continue with this discussion. First things first, I want to clarify something very important. When I come out here and say power scaling needs to stay consistent, or power levels or energy levels, whatever you want to call it, I'm not talking about the numbers. Like for example, this character's power level is 5.8 billion, or that character's power level is 9.2 billion. So of course if they fight, the one with 9.2 billion is going to win. No, I'm not talking about numbers, and I'm also not talking about bringing back scouters. That would honestly be impossible to calculate at this point, and even I don't want that back because, to be honest with you, it serves no purpose at all. I'm simply talking about the concept of power levels, like character A being more powerful than character B, or character B being more powerful than character C. Yes, Dragon Ball pretty much got rid of the whole numbers thing after the Frieza arc, but the concept of power levels still stayed consistent up until the very end, up until Goku flying off with Oob. And you know what's funny? Not a damn person complained about this issue for all these years. It was perfect. Everyone was enjoying Dragon Ball Z. Maybe there were a few idiots here and there, but you understand what I'm saying. This was never an issue before, so why is this such a big issue now with, you know, some of you guys? How can you possibly say this is bad for the series? How is having a character do something within their realm of power seen as a bad thing now? The only bad thing here is what Dragon Ball Super is doing. Not only is it making characters look bad, but it's not even staying consistent with things it establishes, you know, a few episodes ago. I have absolutely no problem with a character like Krillin getting stronger. I have no problem with a character like Piccolo getting stronger. In fact, if you follow my channel, you already know I've always wanted these characters to become more powerful, but it needs to be done in a believable way. If it's done in this manner, well then I want no part of it. I'm not going to accept this because it's bad storytelling. The reason why Gohan becoming a Super Saiyan 2 against Cell is believable is because since the beginning of Dragon Ball Z, we had hints about Gohan's hidden potential that he wasn't able to tap into. The reason why Vegeta going Majin and getting that power boost is believable is because since his first fight with Goku, Vegeta has always wanted to take revenge and finally get the upper hand on him. The reason why Goku going Super Saiyan 3 is believable is because the entire time he was dead, he was doing nothing but training. All those years he did nothing but train, and he finally achieved that transformation. And I could go on, but you understand what I'm saying? Nothing happened overnight, nothing happened in the span of a few episodes, and all of these things can be traced back to something that will tell you how it happened and why it happened. And that's the problem with Dragon Ball Super, because a lot of these things happen without any real explanation. They cannot be traced back to anything. There are episodes where they're showing Krillin getting hurt by bullets, then there are scenes where him and Goku are training and Goku has all these limitations put on him. He's wearing a weighted turtle outfit and he's not allowed to go Super Saiyan because it would be too much for Krillin. Then randomly here he is having a Kamehameha contest with Super Saiyan Blue Goku, and the reason is because he has a home gym now where he can, you know, lift weights and do exercises. Now you can come to me and give me 500 different reasons as to why this should make sense. We could sit here and talk about all those things. You know, maybe Goku was holding back. How was Krillin able to close the gap between him and Goku so fast? Whatever the topic is. But the fact of the matter is, the show didn't tell us how and why. And sometimes even when it does, it's not very clear. The same thing goes with the recent Android 17 and Goku fight they had. Let me tell you first of all, yeah, I actually enjoyed that fight visually. I thought it was very beautiful to look at with the sun in the background and whatnot. But again, did it make sense? No. You have Android 17 literally trading punches with Super Saiyan Blue Goku. And I already know what the excuse is from these fans. They're gonna use that dumb dialogue where both 17 and Goku say that they're holding back. But let me ask you a question. Do you honestly believe that even if Goku was holding back, Android 17 would be that close to him in power? I personally don't think he should be anywhere close to Goku. And another thing is, what's with this dumb excuse the show always uses with Goku holding back? Even the original Dragon Ball manga used to show Goku holding back, which is perfectly fine. But I don't know if you guys noticed this with Dragon Ball Super. Every time they say he's holding back, he's still using Super Saiyan Blue. Listen, if you want to show your characters holding back, then stop making them go to their final transformation. Super Saiyan Blue is still a new transformation. It was only revealed to us a few years ago. But to be honest with you, it already feels old to me because they use it so many damn times. Goku literally goes Super Saiyan Blue in situations and fights where he doesn't need to go Super Saiyan Blue. Oh, I gotta tie my shoelaces? Super Saiyan Blue. I gotta make a sandwich? Super Saiyan Blue. I gotta wipe my butt? Super Saiyan Blue. You know what I mean? Like, give me a break with that stuff, man. You have all these older classic transformations for Goku that you can use if you want to show him holding back, but it's always this Super Saiyan Blue nonsense over and over again. Also, now coming back to the whole 17 and Goku holding back excuse, the reason I think that's stupid is because in that very same episode when Goku goes Super Saiyan Blue, 17 has a line of dialogue where he says, "So you can transform like that too." And then Goku replies to him by saying, "To be honest, I didn't intend to." Once again, being unclear in your storytelling and dialogue, because on one side you're saying that both of these characters are holding back, but then at the same time you're also saying that 17 might have pushed Goku into using Super Saiyan Blue, because as Goku said, he wasn't planning on using it. So clearly they are trying to show that 17 is in fact somewhat close to the power of Super Saiyan Blue, because 17 himself was also holding back, and even while holding back he was still able to push Goku to Super Saiyan Blue. So what do I think about that? Well, I think that's bullshit. Why? Well, because just like Krillin's home gym excuse, 17 himself has a very stupid reason as well. You know, apparently living on an island for all these years, fighting off a bunch of poachers who are nothing more than normal humans with guns, can give you the power to compete with god-level characters. Now, if you take this very same logic that Super is giving us, you know, the logic that fighting normal humans can make you increase that much in battle power, if you take this logic and you apply this logic to, let's say, the original Dragon Ball, well then Goku as a kid should have become a Super Saiyan God. Because Goku clearly, in the original Dragon Ball, was fighting normal humans with guns, plus much more. He was fighting creatures that existed all over the Dragon Ball world with much greater power levels than these humans, and also villains like King Piccolo. So do you understand what I'm saying? This makes absolutely no sense. And I'm going to be honest with you, what Super is doing is sort of a slap in the face to characters like Goku, to characters like Vegeta, and also to previous movies like Battle of Gods. Let me ask you a question, yeah? What were the two major things that Battle of Gods was responsible for doing? Number one was the fact that it introduced Beerus and Whis, and number two was the fact that it introduced Super Saiyan God and also an entirely new realm of power with the concept of God Ki. They showed our main character Goku at his max power, literally getting flicked away. Then Goku had to use the Dragon Balls and figure out what Super Saiyan God was, and then he had to do the whole ritual thing just to obtain this God Ki. And then when he finally obtained this God Ki, it still didn't guarantee him a win. It simply allowed him to compete with Beerus. That's how big of a gap there was in power. And then in Dragon Ball Super, they showed Vegeta acting like a fool and literally going down on his knee and doing whatever it takes to, you know, get Whis to train him. Then they had all those episodes of them training with those weighted suits and whatnot. And then they were able to finally control this God Ki and reach Super Saiyan Blue. These are the two main characters we're talking about, guys. Goku and Vegeta. And now here we are in Dragon Ball Super, and all that stuff that these characters had to go through has been completely wiped away clean, thrown out the window, just like I've been saying since day one. But back then no one believed me because they thought I was talking shit and just hating on the show. But guys, this is what I've been trying to tell you. This is what Dragon Ball Super does. It established all that stuff with Goku and Vegeta and then completely disregarded it. It's like a magic trick, yeah? One episode they show you a hat, and then another episode they show you a rabbit. How did that hat turn into a rabbit? Well, we're never going to know because this is Dragon Ball Super where, you know, things are barely explained, and instead the fanboys just come to the comments section and they create all these bullshit theories as to why this and that makes sense, and then they defend the show. But what they don't understand is the simple fact that they are trying to do the anime's job themselves. The fans shouldn't have to create all this nonsense for this show to make sense. Instead, it should be the show itself that should explain these things to us. That's the whole point of a story, is it not? Or are we just watching a bunch of random characters punching each other and changing hair colors? This isn't what Dragon Ball should be, guys. Alright, this video is starting to get a bit too long now, so I'm just going to talk about one last thing before I leave. A lot of these Dragon Ball Super fanboys are coming out and saying that they like the fact that Super is, sacrificing power scaling and giving us tactics and strategies, and that's how they want the show to be. And I personally think that's, once again, bullshit. First of all, I've said this in a previous video of mine, yeah? When it comes to Dragon Ball Super, Toei Animation really likes to create fake tension in certain episodes, and they also really love to create these, they love to create fake stakes for these characters. For example, for the past couple episodes, we've had characters constantly reminding us that in the upcoming tournament, if you fall out, you're eliminated, and also you won't be able to fly. They're acting as if this huge limitation is put on them, and they're constantly talking about practicing and training for these specific set rules, like that stupid scene with Krillin and Gohan, right? Guys, just think to yourself, yeah? Back in the original Dragon Ball days, barely anyone was flying, and even when they started to fly, the fights were still very grounded, lots of techniques, lots of tactics, lots of strategies were still in play. Just go back and watch all those fights from the World Tournaments. Clearly, all these characters who were around back then are much better fighters now. They are all way more experienced now, so why are they making such a big deal out of this, no flying rule? They're acting like they have to train for it and whatnot. What does this even mean? Just don't fly. These rules aren't new at all. How many times have we seen that out of bounds falling out of the stage rule? We had that rule during the Cell games as well. And then look what happened. Cell freaking destroyed the arena himself and got rid of it. It isn't even that big of a deal. So what I'm trying to say to you guys is, please stop eating up all this bullshit that Toei Animation is putting into the show. All you have to do is sit and think. And I promise you, you'll be able to see right through this nonsense. Also, going back to that argument about sacrificing power scaling for tactics and whatnot, you people do realize that you can have both of them, right? How many times did Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z prove that to you? I don't mean to be rude, yeah? But do you people watch with your eyes closed or what? In my last video, I used the first fight in Dragon Ball Z as an example. In this video, I will use that same fight as an example. Goku and Piccolo versus Raditz. This fight takes place at a time where power levels and scouters were just being introduced. If there's any moment where power levels matter the most, it's right here. Raditz comes to Earth with the scouter, and after a few scenes with all the characters, we establish the fact that Raditz is the strongest person on the planet at the moment. Goku and Piccolo both attack him at the same time, but he's able to block every single strike and still prove that he's faster and stronger. Why? Because he's got much greater battle power than them both. So how do they beat him? They come up with a strategy. Goku grabs him from behind and Piccolo charges up the special beam cannon and ends up taking them down both. Perfect example of how you can have consistent power scaling and still have tactics or strategies, whatever you want to call it. It doesn't matter if it's a one-on-one fight or a team battle. All you need, man, all you need is good writing. And that's what Dragon Ball Super lacks. And all you Dragon Ball Super fanboys know it. You people are digging for that tiny mistake that Dragon Ball Z made, and you are forcing that tiny mistake to come out, and you're using those mistakes to justify the fact that what Super is doing is perfectly fine. And you know it's not true. You know damn well it's not true. Dragon Ball Z by no means is a perfect series, but when it comes to its writing and its fight scenes and its overall quality, it's a damn masterpiece compared to Dragon Ball Super. Dragon Ball Super isn't anywhere close to the length of Dragon Ball Z, but it already has more flaws and more inconsistencies. So what do you have to say about that? Once again, I'm not coming out here and bashing the show and telling you to stop watching it. Guys, I still watch the show, and I'm going to continue to watch the show, but that doesn't mean we can't criticize it or have a proper discussion about it. So that's it for me, guys. If this video didn't convince you that power scaling not only needs to exist, but also, should stay consistent, well then, to be honest with you, I don't know what will convince you. But anyways, I'm out of here. I hope you all enjoy your day, and I will catch you guys later. Peace out.